Hi everybody, it's Mr. Gray here. Thanks again for another great week. We've reached the end now of this part of the year, and so we have one more week until we get to spring break. So next week is March 28th through April 1st. That week, we just have mostly announcements and a couple academic things, but the big announcements for next week are that open house is on Thursday, March 31st, in person at school from 6 to 7 p.m. So we'll be open. You can come anytime during that time. You can check out other classrooms, siblings' classrooms. Just come to the school anytime between 6 and 7. I'll be here, and there'll be activities and things to review that your kids have made throughout the year. They'll have things to show you, and it'll be really fun, and I'd love to see you because, I think we're getting closer to a normal school year, but we haven't seen families as much as we normally do. So that would be great if you could come. That's Thursday, March 31st from 6 to 7 p.m. The other thing about next week is that all the days are minimum days. So every day gets out at 1:40. It's the official conference week, even though I've been doing conferences this last week, but that's why. So every day next week, Monday through Friday, gets out at 1:40. And the week after that is our spring break week. So we won't see the kids again until the 11th, I think. Monday, April 11th is when we come back. And so you get off April 4th through 8th, and then we'll be back on the 11th, okay? The other big announcement is that I sent home with kids, and it's linked on the updates page, is the talent show is coming up. So if your kids have a talent, there's a form that has to be filled out. If they're making a group, they have to write down all the names of their group members. All the rules are on the forum, but you can print it out, have your kids fill it out, and they just have to bring it to me by next Friday, April 1st. Keep practicing multiplication and division facts. The spelling words this last week were just for fun, silly, crazy words, and then there is no spelling next week, so we'll start that again after we come back after spring break. And we're almost done with our final wordament before spring break, so that's what's kind of going on in class. Those are all the announcements. Of course, if you have any questions or anything, you can always send me an email or schedule a Zoom call to ask me. As far as academics go next week, the week before spring break, we're kind of wrapping stuff up. The kids are going to work on a little reading, like a character project that might show up at open house. Writing is going to be the same thing. In math, we're just reviewing and playing lots of math games where the kids have to use their adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing skills to play these math games with other kids. They use dice and counters, and there's different kind of games that they've been playing. We're not doing anything in social studies next week. And in science, they're working on their weather diaries, which we will use in our math data, like collecting data and displaying data unit after the spring break. So that's what's coming up. After spring break, we'll have an opinion unit in writing. We'll have a mystery read unit, and we'll get into data collection and making bar graphs and things like that for math. That'll lead us to most of the end of the year. We might get a little bit to mass and volume at the end of the year. After spring break, it goes really quick. There's only 8 weeks of school. A couple of those weeks are dedicated to state testing. The kids have an end-of-year math test toward the end of the year. So it's going to go by really fast after spring break, but we'll get there when we get there. Of course, if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.